All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Today we're doing a really cool, fun little stream. Most underrated and overrated characters in
If you
comic
didn't
books.
if you didn't like Rob before, you're not going to like him after this. I promise you.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go one underrated each, and then we'll look at the chat and see what they think an underrated character is. And then we'll do one overrated, and then we'll look at the chat and see what the chat has there. And we're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1 being the most overrated. But before we do that, let's say hello, George. How are you?
Great, doing great. Excited for this list.
Beautiful. Leroi?
I'm tired.
Love the energy, Leroi. Fantastic.
Yes.
You bring in your A game this afternoon. I assume it is that time there.
I do have one question before we start.
Yep.
So I made a list of the top 5 most underrated and top 5 most overrated, but you also mentioned best and worst. Which is it?
It's overrated and underrated. Someone may say that title was clickbait. They may be right. They might be right. It also helped that I could fit it on the actual image. So
are you gonna say hi to the chat, Rob?
Yes,
you're really good at doing that.
That's exactly what I was about to get to.
Yeah, I know you were. I know you were.
Let's start off. And before I do, so guys, let us know when we go through the list. Like, we want to hear yours as well, so we can see what you guys think.
Well, I don't want to hear Chris Cranham's though.
Well, I mean, his number one would be underrated. Would be Clayton Barton.
Where's 1 through 5?
Lord Crackhead says, "Is the Robblecopter Discord?" It does need a name, doesn't it? Chris Cranham's here. I can just tell this is going to be a legendary vid, probably. D-Wag, it's good to see Darren around again. We do. You guys don't realize we do miss you when you're not there.
VIP, we're looking at you.
Danger Vanessa, good to see you.
I don't know if I miss Vanessa.
Black Rose Comics, George is saying hello, chat, like he does every time. Oz Great Sage, saying Black Rose Comics pages look good. Cool, very nice. K Manifesto, good to see you.
Manifesto just purchased the draw-in tier for Battle Brick Road. He's getting himself drawn in.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I borrow ideas. I didn't see you there. He says, "Hurry up, Rob." I borrow ideas has been on me this last week like a tick on a dog.
Oh, he's been destroying Mr. Diaz too, though. It's not just you. He just blew up Phil Diaz yesterday. Extra chromosome Discord.
That's a high compliment, if you ask me. So congratulations, Rob.
I have more chromosomes than anyone else. There you go. Haha, I'm the winner. Johnny Cage is in the house.
What's up, Johnny?
Darren's saying I was telling George about Time Crawler earlier. What's that?
That's Darren's book he's working on.
Oh, cool, man. Awesome. I know Leroi goes, I hate it when people go from, being one of the fans to a creator. I like it, dude.
I don't mind it. I just want to see art. Like, I want to see, let me see it. Like, let me see what you're working on.
Don't talk about it so much. Get it done.
Well, I don't need to see all of it, but show us something,
Ooh. Comics Mate. Good morning, gentlemen. Peter Sharon, Comics Day for Life.
It's good to see you. Wait a minute. It's like Black Rose. Like, he said he's working on a book. And I'm like, okay, but then he shows me the pages. I'm like, oh, shit, you are working on a book. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, stuff like that, I'm a big fan of.
It seems to me, too, a lot of the newer guys are getting good artists on, too. Like, there's, obviously some don't, but some people are really, they're trying to get in at that top level, which is impressive. Hats off to you. Well done. I think I've said hello to everyone, but if I haven't, apologies. Chris Cranham says Itachi is underrated, bro. I agree.
Too soon. We're not there yet.
I don't know what that is.
Itachi is a character from a manga called Naruto, George.
I thought we were doing comics.
Yeah,
We are.
this is
We are.
manga. George and I is gonna go find a stream somewhere else to hang out at.
Oh, jeez, I know. Wow. Okay, let's kick it off. So, number 5, most underrated character in comics, George. Go.
Number 5, I have the Scourge of the Underworld from Marvel Comics. Have you heard of him?
Never heard of him.
He was a character that was created in the 80s to eliminate useless characters, like useless villains from the Marvel Universe. So he would come in, just shoot the character and kill it, and just say, justice has been served. I thought it was a clever little idea, kind of lasted through the summer of multiple books. Very underused and very underrated. I think one of the reasons why its creator, Mark Grunwald, passed away very unexpectedly, very young. And I think it's a way of Marvel to kind of not return to that character. But I've always loved this. That's him right there. You got him. Yeah, he was known to walk into a bar and shoot like 10, 15 villains all at once. Real badass of a character. No mercy whatsoever.
Yeah, I like this. Good pick, George.
Thank you.
Very, very interesting. Looks like he has some sort of Tommy gun-ish weapons.
Yes. Yeah, he would just obliterate these. But he would kill characters in many unique ways. He would dress up. He would hide his identity. And no one really knew who he was. So it was...
who was he?
Never was really explained. When he was kind of revealing his identity, Captain America, he was then killed, and someone said, justice has been served. So they kind of were like elongated the story, but they never kind of revisited it.
Okay, fair enough. We have Eric has popped in. Welcome.
Why are we talking about manga?
Well, I really like Naruto, so I'm going to be that one person. Leroi, your 5th place most underrated
the Spectre
character. The Spectre. Okay.
Yes.
That's a great choice.
Yeah. Like everybody knows the Spectre, right? Like, no? He's like a detective. Yes. Yeah. Like, or half detective. I don't know how. George, explain it. He's part detective. Like a soul. Yeah.
So he was Detective Jim Corrigan.
Right.
And he was assassinated by the mafia.
Right.
And he comes back and he was the wrath of God, basically.
Yes. He lays his vengeance upon thee. It's like he's like a righteous vigilante. Otherworldly. But yeah, I like the Spectre. And you see him from time to time. I mean, he's not that... only one of my characters is like off the radar. But like, you'll notice there'll be trends with where I'm going. But yeah, I like the Spectre. I wish I saw more of him.
He looks very much like Dr. Doom to me.
I think Dr. Doom looks like the Spectre.
Dr. Doom is very metallic, and Spectre is not. But I mean, they both have a green cloak, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
that's just white. That's just white.
The Spectre is ethereal, though. Like, there's a difference.
Chat, type 5 and then put your person next to it so we can keep it more organized. That'd be awesome. Okay, cool. I am convinced that you know how, like, in movies they will have someone that's left behind to record what happens to the fate of the world, like, and everything that's happened. I believe that person is George. His memory is incredible. I'm
going to be left behind.
All right, let me bring up my list. Oh geez, I think I'm going to get punched in the face straight away here.
No.
All right. Sharing my screen. Daredevil.
Underrated, huh?
Wow.
Did I choose the wrong one?
I just think he's rated just about right. I don't think he's underrated or overrated.
When I wasn't sure if you were going to do top 5 best or worst, I made a second list just to be sure, and he's on my list of best characters, but I wouldn't call him underrated. I mean, he's been in movies, he's been in animation, there's been figures, there's been video games.
TV shows.
Do you know what I've done? I've chosen the overrated one.
You think he's overrated?
Yeah, I do.
Welcome to the extra chromosome comic strips fan.
Underrated. The Dark Judges from Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah.
I think they are fantastically designed. They're all different. They're all unique. You have this guy that throws those bear traps. He opens up his face and shows you fear. You have a guy that turns makes you rot. There's a guy that's on fire. I mean, that's pretty cliche, but Dark Judges would be mine. And yeah, I've ruined the stream already.
Yeah, you did. It's over.
Yeah, it's done. Let's wrap it up here. Let's have a look what chat says. Night Thrasher and Moon Knight underrated for me. George, what do you think about that?
Night Thrasher is very popular. I'm not a fan. I do like Moon Knight. Underrated. He's probably rated right around where I think he should be.
The Shadow.
The Shadow was huge 80 years ago, but he's not very popular now. But I guess Dynamite does some comics with him, but more of a pulp hero.
Dario's bringing up Exo Man of War, and I almost put Bloodshot on here because I loved when Bloodshot first came out, but they have destroyed those characters so bad that they can't be underrated because where they're at now is just terrible.
Look at what K Manifesto puts. The Purple Man. That's a great villain from Marvel Comics. He can make you do whatever he says. So
Rob's just overrating mediocre characters and calling them underrated.
What did Comics Made expect? I mean,
if you thought that there was some sort of grand plan behind what I'm doing, there really isn't. All right, we'll go to overrated. I've already said mine. It is Daredevil.
Yeah, I like Daredevil a lot, actually. I think he's one of the best characters. To go back to your point, the thing he's most known for is his disability, which I think is really unique. He's a street-level character. He's been put through the ringer left and right throughout his life.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about the character that makes you think he's overrated?
Just like it's a dude who can't see, who can hear, and has really good other senses, and it's just it's all right, but I think it's overrated.
A couple of people agree with you in the chat. I disagree. I think, especially when Frank Miller came on board and introduced the backstory of him.
Yeah, it's like one of the top 5 runs of all, top 10 maybe runs of all time.
And he expanded the universe, adding in characters like Elektra and Stick and the Hand. His original villains early on, like Stiltman and the Owl, were silly, but once Miller came on, things changed, and I like the character.
Yeah, I think he's right where he should be, George.
Yeah.
Black Rose Comics says underrated. No, overrated is what we're on now. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I mean, I can appreciate how people like him. I just think for me, he's just a bit. He's a bit. I don't want to say average because I think that there's good design choices. I think there's good backstory with it, but it's just for me, I don't find him that interesting. So I'm going to go he's overrated.
Okay.
We'll go George next.
For top 5 most overrated, my number 5 is Captain Marvel from Marvel Comics.
Overrated?
Overrated.
Wow.
You can choose any one you want, and I'd make an argument for it. I'm going to go with the original, the Kree Marvel.
Oh, you were saying I thought you said Captain America. Okay, now it makes sense.
My apologies if I'm breaking up. Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I kind of think the character is extraordinarily dull. There was one. I'm talking about the original Captain Marvel. Marvel. That's Carol Danvers that you're showing. But I thought there was one interesting story arc ever in the character's creation. That was when he died.
Booty just wants to be put in timeout, George.
But outside of the character dying, there was nothing contributed in his lore that I found interesting.
Hmm.
You keep on showing the female character, but I meant Marvel.
Well, it's not bringing up anything else.
That's okay. We can move on.
Heresy in the chat. Stream is ruined now.
Osgrade
Are
Sage.
you talking about the male character? Is that this one?
That's him.
Yeah, that's
Captain Marvel. Oh, you could choose anyone you want. I just stuck with that one first because I had the one story I did like from his span, but I just think the character is dull. I don't know why Marvel. I think the only reason Marvel keeps hanging on to the character because its name is Marvel. But even when he was coming out in the 70s, no one was buying that book.
Danger Vanessa says, "Why does George Travelos' hair have that wet out of the shower look?" George,
take your headset off and move your head from side to side.
No, I'm not doing that. No.
Do this one, George.
Come on, guys. Stick with the list.
Osgrade Sage says, "Green Arrow, Squirrel Girl, Harley Quinn, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel."
Well, one at a time, Oz. One at a time, bro.
Yeah, those are all good choices, by the way. If he's talking over,
I borrow idea. This is my favorite.
Okay, yeah, and just quickly, I know this has been done to death, but could they have chosen a more boring actor than Brie Larson for it? Just saying.
It's fine.
Leroi.
I have Cable as 5.
Good choice.
Like his entire existence is chasing down the X-Men and telling them about their plot. I'm over it. He's got cool pouches though. Yeah, that's a Cable.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I think, from a design point of view, I think he's actually a really cool looking character, design. And I think he's really interesting. But I can see why you think he's overrated. Yeah. I can.
So, Rob, how much of your decision is based on how the character looks like design-wise?
We already did a design stream, I thought.
This should be overrated, underrated. How good is the lore, the universe, the villains, the setting?
Well, yeah, I don't know, George. It is what it is. It's just going to happen. We'll see how it goes. All right.
You're saying we might have a possible 2 extra chromosomes going on today.
Don't forget to check with the chat. Number 5, most overrated.
Drunk and fat version of Thor. That's a good call.
I call underrated on that.
Black Rose says Spider-Man at this point.
I just think Spider-Man where he needs to be. I mean, he's a pretty important character.
Are you right with that comment, George?
I like Spider-Man a lot. In fact, when I made my list of top 5 best characters, he was on it.
Magnus Robot Fighter.
Oh, that's from Valiant. Yeah, I mean he was popular in the 60s.
I've got one Valiant on between both my lists because Dario keeps bringing up Valiant, so I got one Valiant character.
Sleepwalker. All right. Okay, so number 4, underrated. I'll make sure I get the right one this time. I'm going to go with, and I'm going to cop it from this. Dr. Manhattan.
Underrated?
Yeah, I think so.
Why is he underrated?
I just think he's a really cool character, really interesting powers, really interesting story. I think, he should be. I know he's popular. I understand that, but I think that he should be more popular than he is.
Why?
Because, like I said, interesting character.
Yeah, but what's what's of all the interesting things? What's the thing that sticks out to you?
Oh, the fact that he can do pretty much anything. Based off the movie, ripping people apart, transporting to different worlds. I just think he's a really cool character. George.
No, I hate the Watchmen.
I was waiting for George to lay in to tell you were wrong because you are.
I'll get more to that later, but don't worry.
Why, Leroy? You don't like the Watchmen, or you don't think he's underrated?
Weren't you the one that's talking about like I hate heroes that can just do anything all the time and like there's no like?
Yeah.
Weren't you talking about that? Isn't that your shtick?
Aren't you the one that talks about how boring a design character is? How much more boring is it than just blue? Like it's just blue.
That's fair enough. That's fair. I don't know. I like him. George, number 4.
Number 4, most underrated character, Madman by Mike Allred. So Madman being one word. He's a character named Frank Einstein. Very like underground book. I think it started at Caliber in 1990. He's creator owned. Does a bunch of miniseries still. I think he should be more popular than he is. Beautiful artwork, great storytelling. The character is a little bit out of his mind. I would say like kind of almost hallucinative. Just a fun universe. Have you heard of him before, Rob?
No, not at all.
I consider him to be very underrated.
Why does he have a toupee on?
Yeah. Why does he wear blue gloves?
Well, he's trying to be sanitary during quarantine.
That's a good point, George. I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
He's even got a mask. He's even got a mask on, George.
What's with the red thunderbolt?
That's his logo. Characters have logos, unlike the Dr. Manhattan, who's just blue and dull.
Get him, George. Get him.
Oh, mate. And the thing is, I can't argue with George because he has the knowledge of everything that's ever been created in the history of the universe. So it's just like, I don't like it. George is like, yeah, but wait, because I don't, George.
George is like Comics Gate version of Doctor Doom.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he looks interesting. Yes, we're going overrated and underrated, or the other way around. So this is
Eric,
underrated right now.
Rob is making this as difficult as humanly possible.
Every time. That's what I do. You know, I'm a special kind of person. Leroi.
This is a character that if Marvel or DC had their hands on would be way more popular than he is because he's at Valiant right now. Turok. I think Turok is underrated. I think if he's in the hands of Marvel and DC, especially with the current diversity inclusion atmosphere, which I don't care. I love the character anyways. He'd be more popular, but I love Turok.
Okay. Interesting. Dinosaur Hunter.
Yeah.
With a kick-ass bow, like doing man things. Yeah, like Turok is a badass. He's a Kiowa, like Indian from the Dakotas. Like I love his backstory. I just like Turok. I wish he wasn't with Valiant.
George, what was it like hunting with him back in the day?
Plus, it's dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are always cool. They got to be fun to draw for the artist, fun to design. I mean, it's a fun book. Leroy's 2 for 2 today.
And Rob's 0 from 2, basically, is what George is saying.
Well, don't worry, George. You're about to disagree with me now, buddy.
Okay. So we're up to the next one. Overrated again?
Yep.
All right.
It's your choice now, Rob. 4, overrated.
Yeah. What about chat? Do you have any suggestions for underrated for number 4? Oh, actually, I have to do mine, don't I? Okay, overrated.
I'm not. I would. If you're just saying Robin, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Robin.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
You think he's overrated?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there one in particular, or just in general?
Just the whole character, just boring.
Okay.
It's like a F version of Batman.
I always enjoy the stories like the most recent Batman's Grave, where Robin's not even a thing, like, or the Long Halloween, where Robin's not even like a thing. Like, those are usually my favorite Batman stories.
I think it was just a character designed to give Batman more depth and takes stories in different directions. And I think he's lame.
It was a character generated because comics with children in it sold more books.
Mm-hmm.
That injected youth in, like Captain America got Bucky and Batman got Robin, and all that stuff started happening.
Yep.
And it just kind of built from there.
And it made Batman huge, like the show, didn't it? Like the actual was
The
it
Adam West show?
Adam West show
Mhm.
made that show massive.
I don't know if it was Robin that made the show massive. I mean, he
No,
was.
I think it was the what's it called, George? The campiness.
Yeah.
What do you think? Disagree, George? Leroy?
I'm okay with it.
I'm with you. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if I put him this high, but yeah, I could see somebody saying he's overrated. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. Rick Grimes, overrated. Ninja Boy, overrated. Sleepwalker. Booty Juice saying Robin is unnecessary. Yeah, I agree. Okay. The Alpha Male Champion comic book show. We're not there yet. We will get there. Okay, we will get there. All right. George.
Yeah, remember, chat, we're not doing best and worst characters. We're doing top 5 most underrated and top 5 most overrated. So now we're going to number 4 most overrated. Is that where we're at, Rob?
I don't know, George. You're meant to be able to keep track of me.
Okay, I am. I'm just speaking out loud and clarifying with you. I have Rorschach from Watchmen. Placeholder because all of the Watchmen are overrated.
Yes, get him, George, get him.
When that book came out, people got so excited about it. I read it. It's to this day, it's still hard to get through. It's the most dull and unnecessary story that people have ever talked about, in my opinion. Rorschach is just ridiculous. I don't like any of the characters, but he seems to be the most popular, so I went with him.
I did that too later on in my list, George. I just picked one to rule them all.
And so did I. I have a feeling we're going to have a dupe. Alpha Male Champion comic book show.
That's Greg. We can just call him Greg.
But that's the greatest title. I'm going to say it every time.
Okay.
It says, I hate Watchmen, the book, the movie, and the show. I've never seen the show, but I agree with the other two.
This is a pretty common comment that people make. I love Dick Grayson, though. What is it about Dick Grayson that people like, George?
Nightwing. It's Nightwing. Everyone loves Nightwing.
Do you not know the Nightwing story?
In Bloodhaven, like the whole lore there, like Robin.
I know Nightwing, right? I know Nightwing. I don't know his story though.
When Robin grew up,
it
was Dick Grayson. He left and became Nightwing. So
is that it though? Like, is that?
Well, people have then kind of followed the character along. I'm not going to tell you all the story about Nightwing, but he's an extraordinarily popular character. Actually, my favorite Robin is Tim Drake. But yeah, Nightwing is a very popular character.
Okay. All right, cool. Leroy?
Yeah, I'm about to get flayed here by the chat, and maybe you guys, I don't know, but I'm going with Spawn.
Okay, so number 4 overrated for you is Spawn? Yeah, we have a dupe because my number 3 overrated is Spawn.
Well, you went too soon, George.
Well, I have to call out when I hear a dupe, and I just heard a dupe.
All right. Well, I mean, Spawn, it goes right in hand with my number 1 underrated. That's all, I'm not going to go further into that than say it goes along with my number 1 underrated character. You can go ahead and George and explain why he's your third.
To me, the character was created just to sell toys. He's not an interesting comic book character. I mean, when people talk about the villains from the universe, they're talking about the figures. They're going to say Malbolia, they're going to say Violator, but they know more about the action figures than they do the story itself. To be honest with you, I'm not sure McFarlane knew what the story was for the first 2 years he was even writing it.
Yeah, the art is kick-ass. There's no denying the character design. It's
agreed.
Awesome.
Yeah, okay. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. I think the character looks really cool.
You didn't get disagreement from either one of us on that.
Yep. I think he looks really cool. He's interesting. People love Spawn.
Spawn was indeed gold, and then silver, and all other kinds of colors of toys in the 90s and 2000. But he's not an interesting.
I think
character.
they had a fuchsia one at one point.
Yeah.
Critical Blast says worst character: Harold the Hunchback Batcave Inventor Mute.
But that like I said, that pick will make sense when you hear my number one underrated. Well, at least to George. I don't know if anybody else in the chat will know who I'm talking about, but it will make sense.
Okay.
A lot of folks in the chat are saying they like the character, but the writing isn't very good.
Well, that's part of being the character, is having
Exactly.
good writing and a good story.
Yep. Go ahead, Rob. You're up. Number 4, most overrated.
Number 4, most overrated. Mine was Robin.
Oh, you had it. Okay, so we all went for 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chat, you let us know what you think most overrated. Who we got? Yeah, people are saying people are varying on Spawn.
Oh, people love him.
I knew I was
going
to face the wrath of the chat with that, but I have to be honest. You know,
yep, I agree.
Spawn cried a lot in the cartoon. Never read the comic. Most overrated Wolverine.
I disagree with that. He's the only one of the X-Men. He's not in either one of my. Does anybody have Wolverine? Because I don't want to get into him if we're going to talk about him.
I have Wolverine on my list.
Okay. We'll stop then.
Superman.
Yeah, if you want to say like you want a character that spawned a whole industry and then call him overrated, you can do that. I'm not going to.
All right, who's up?
All right, we are at number 3 on the most underrated list.
Okay. Here we go.
Could you find a smaller picture?
Is that Chun-Li?
Psylocke.
Is that what you're
George? What? That's a fair one.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Just what? Because she's part of the X-Men, or
did you get like a hat and just have a bunch of characters and just pull the names out? Is that what you did, Rob?
Dude, she's a cool character. Her powers are cool. The way she looks is cool. She can make energy blades with psychic energy. She has psychic powers. I think she's cool, man.
That's interesting choice.
Yeah, I'll say that. That's interesting. Let's move on.
Psylocke is so good, man. She has plasma blade things that wreck people. Yeah, exactly. What? Psylocke is hot. Oh gosh, mate, I can't win with you two. You're expecting more of me, I think.
No. We're just talking.
No, we would never expect more of you, Rob. George and I know better than that.
All right, let's go, George.
Yep, my number 3 most underrated is Badger. Badger from Badger Comics, not Badger from the chat. You never heard of Badger? Created by Mike Barron. Capital Comics, creator owned. No. So he came out of the 80s when there was a boom of independent comics. What makes him interesting is he has multiple personality disorder. That's him. So his powers change based on his personality. So
that's interesting.
George like heroes with toupees.
So his main character, which his name is Norbert Sykes, he's a martial arts expert. But he can also, in his personality, speak to animals. He thinks he's a wizard. Like he's legit crazy.
But George, serious question: like, does his powers change randomly?
No, only with his personality.
Yeah, but if his personality just switches, like, isn't he effed? If he's like, or does he have to like adapt to a new set of powers?
No, he can't. He can't change them on his own. They change when they change.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. But say like he's in the middle of a confrontation, and then bam, he switches personalities. Then he has a whole different set of powers. Like
that's right.
Okay, cool.
One of his personalities is a 9-year-old girl. One of his personalities is a dog. By the way, the dog's name is Leroi.
Oh,
So we got Leroi and Badger in the same character.
I was gonna say that's a pretty lame choice, multiple personalities, because oh jeez, man, that's what they all try and do these days.
Have you seen your list?
Hey, can you wait for me to finish, Leroy, before you shut me down? But having the different powers with each personality, I actually think is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll give you a solid 2
What's
thumbs
the
up
last
there,
run of this though?
It's only been shot in miniseries lately, and I don't know if he's even coming back to the character.
Who's the publisher?
Mike Barron is the creator. There's no independent publisher anymore. I think he just publishes it wherever.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, before we get to Leroy, let's have a quick look at the chat because they've been saying a few things.
I'd like to reiterate something real quick, Rob, if you don't mind. Chat is cool, like Rob said. Put the number next to it, like 4. Because now we're just reading different characters. If you tell us like your 4 is this and 3 is this, it would help us see where you're at, kind of thing.
Guts from Berserk, underrated. Yeah, don't know if he's underrated. Mr. Sinister, underrated.
That's interesting.
Who else? Legion.
Oh yeah, Legion from X-Men, right? Isn't that his name? Wasn't there a TV series? The guy that was kind of like crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept that M. Night Shyamalan seems to have stolen for the movie Split. Yeah.
I think I watched that. I don't remember much of it though. Split.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I think he's a really good actor. Grendel is very underrated. I like to say 3 at least.
Oh yeah,
great choice. I had Mage on my longer list. Greg, that's a great choice.
Yep.
Whose silly idea was that? It's way too hard to keep track of. George, you got to tell me when I have bad ideas, mate. Judge Dredd, underrated. Oh, geez, I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is underrated.
As much as you like him, I think he would be though, because he's your favorite, right?
Well, he's not my favorite. He's just it's a tough one because the people that know him really like him, right? But he's probably not as well known as he should be, I would say. I don't know. It's hard I don't know what it's like over there with you guys.
He's been in 2 movies. There's been a whole action figure line based on him. I don't know. I kind of think he's right around properly rated.
Tough one. Yeah, Judge Dredd is the best in other countries. Yeah, that's pretty fair, I'd say.
Okay.
Leroy.
Yeah, George's going to like these next 2, but to me, these 2 characters are with Marvel, and if they can be Marvel's answer to Batman if they were done right. Like, they could be their big characters. They're not done right. I'm going to go with Ghost Rider for this one, and then there's another one right after this. I just don't. He's always been the character. First of all, you talk about character design. What's more badass than this? And then the whole, like I said, I'm a big vigilante guy, huge vigilante guy. So I love the whole, you effed with my family and all that. I love it all, and dude, I love the Ghost Rider, but I just don't think Marvel gives him due, and I think he could be much more popular than he is.
George?
Yeah.
Why would I like him if he had green fire? I don't actually like green, Chris. It's just I always notice it when people use it. I don't know if it's a skull guy with his face on fire.
Yeah, to me, once again, multiple movies. I've seen them before. I think
those movies were all bad, George.
Yeah, but they were
all terrible.
They were, whether they're good or bad, they were still made, which means the character can't be that underrated. He was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It took me a long time to recover from that Nicolas Cage movie. A long time.
I don't know. It's okay. It's not as bad as some of Rob's choices.
I appreciate that. That's not hard to do, though.
Unbelievable. Okay, what's next? Where are we at, George?
Did you do yours?
Mm,
Number 3 most underrated.
Mine was Psylocke.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it already. All right, so
Unbelievable. And that's from someone who doesn't forget anything.
number 3 most overrated for me was Spawn. And we already did it because Leroy had it on his 4. So we'll go to you guys now.
Oh, okay. Overrated?
Mm-hmm, number 3.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me bring it up. Okay. Actually, I've got a picture. Why am I typing it in? Bear with me 1 second. Mm-hmm. Harley Quinn.
Duplicate.
Harley Quinn. Don't get me wrong either. I actually really like Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
I think the character, it was really cool how it all came about. I think they even did a decent backstory, like to make it work. But oh my god, she's just everywhere, and it's just like everything that was cool about the character, her uniqueness and her craziness,
It's been stripped away. I feel.
It's just like
This is my second, Rob.
It's just jammed down your throat now.
See, that's why it's important to clarify. You're not saying best and worst characters. You're saying most over and underrated because you actually like this character.
I do,
but she's
yeah.
extraordinarily overrated according to you.
Yeah, I do. And like the one after this, I actually really, really like that character. But they are very much overrated as well, I think.
Good pick, Rob.
Yeah, yeah, I think this is a good one.
Because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, George, but she started out from the animated cartoon series as a side character. Like she was nothing. She wasn't meant to be anything. She was really popular, and they evolved on the story like from there. And she became the backstory was she was Joker's therapist in Arkham Asylum. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, I think that's pretty well done. But now, yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah,
I'm with you.
She's a chick with a hammer.
I don't know if Rob has had to react to us both agreeing with him. I think he's kind of flustered.
I'm just going to keep talking because they agree with me. Yeah. So Harley Quinn, Leroy.
Yeah, this is my catch-all. Like for George's, I picked the leader of this outfit. He's terrible. He's not. He's a adulterer. He is not a good leader. And the whole ragtag outfit of him I find boring and don't like, except for one character, which is Wolverine. I like him. I wish he was by himself. Cyclops.
Yeah. It's Cyclops is a real funny one because for some reason people seem to like him.
Well, it's a catch-all just for all X-Men, really. So I just picked the leader.
He's just like I don't get it. He's whiny. He's needy.
Moody, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's just I mean, I think like the powers are kind of cool. You know, the fact he can't see, you know, without his visor thing, he shoots laser beams. But yeah, it's just meh. It is meh. It's very meh. I don't like Cyclops. Cyclops is too cucked at this point.
The only thing about this choice is I don't know how highly regarded Cyclops is.
Yeah, I picked him for all X-Men.
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
but like Cyclops was. I've never talked to anyone who said he's my favorite X-Men character. So that's my only thing about this choice.
I mean, I could have picked Jean Grey or what the hell ever.
Yeah,
you know,
but no, I understand what you're doing. I'm just giving you my 2 cents.
I gotcha.
Yep. Higgs Villain says Cyclops is a dull character that could never carry a solo title. Yes, I think that nails it pretty much. Spot on.
Oh, and I'm still recovering from that dude that played Gambit. Like, it was so bad.
Oh. This. I actually think Gambit's a pretty cool character design. Like, you have the things that he charges, like the cards. He has the staff. He has an interesting face and outfit. His accent is really irritating.
That's not offensive.
But
lots of people in the United States talk like that, right?
Yeah, that's okay, Rob. Keep on going.
Fine. But like, you compare Gambit to how Cyclops is designed. I think it's just like it's a dude in tights with a visor on his face. Yeah.
I thought I'd get more flack in the chat from this, but I'm not. So there you go.
Which
Taylor,
one was it? This
Taylor
was number.
Kittich?
Yeah, that's the guy that played Gambit.
Yeah. This is number 2 most overrated.
Three.
No, 3 still.
Two for me was Harley Quinn.
Gotcha.
Darren Wagner says Gambitch. David Finch likes Cyclops the most. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, who's next?
We already did mine because I duped Spawn for overrated. So we're going now to number 2 most underrated.
Number 2 most underrated. Everyone, make sure you understand what's happening because I don't even know. All right, geez. Oh man, I'm going to cop it for this one. All right, I am sharing my screen. Number 2 most underrated is Witchblade.
I'm not saying that's a bad choice. What you talked about earlier about where you put her as the most interesting character design was ridiculous, but you can say she's underrated. I'm okay with that. She did have a TV show though. Now that I think about it, right?
Yeah, but I always judge like how good were the TV shows. Like it's not that they had a TV show. Did the TV show or the movies do the character justice?
Look, answer me this, right? If she was in the X-Men, where do you think she would rank?
Number 3 most overrated.
This character is not for me, Rob. I'm glad you like her.
Thanks, George. I just think that if she was in a more popular franchise, she would be. I think if she was in X-Men, she'd be the most popular female for sure, by far. Thinking.
number 2 most underrated in the chat. Eric Von Stugel's got Black Canary.
Overrated?
Underrated.
And Black Rose Comics has Punisher. And Allie has Mara Jade Skywalker.
I don't know if that maybe.
Moon Knight.
Very good, Jeremy.
Slain. Someone said Slain. Okay, who we're up to now?
I'll go. My number 2 most underrated is Fugitoid. Do you know the Fugitoid? I don't know, man.
George?
I'm gonna say yes.
No, let's see what the Fugitoid is.
Fugitoid kind of became popular from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans. He was created by Eastman and Laird. Created actually prior to the Turtles.
This thing?
Yeah, that's a professor and his worker robot gets struck by lightning, and his mind gets put in the Fugitoid's body, and kind of became popular in the Turtles comics and the Turtles cartoons. But never really had his own series, never really was spotlighted on. I've always loved the Fugitoid. I just think he's a fun character.
Leroi, what do you think of the Fugitoid?
I think George is off his rocker.
Comics, mate. Most overrated Doctor Doom, fight me.
Look what Alpha Male Champion comic book show says.
Let's go, bitch. Greg, I don't like the new name. It is way too hard to say.
Yeah,
great.
I think he's going to do a show in his stream in fairness, so it's a good way to advertise, but it is a mouthful.
Okay, so Leroi?
I'm going to pick this character. You guys are going to say he's rated just fine or whatever, but I'm going to tell you if Marvel put this guy and put the emphasis on him like DC puts emphasis on Batman, if the movies and shows about him were actually good, this guy would be much more popular. That's the Punisher.
Underrated.
Underrated. This guy can ascend to levels of Batman if he had the attention, the proper writing, the good movies, all the movies with him has been terrible. The show had like one good season, then it went to shit. But like I like Vigilante guys. This guy is my favorite Marvel character.
I don't know if he's underrated. Multiple movies, a TV show, appearances on other shows.
Like I said though, George, I base it on that because if the movies are shit, then what good is that doing?
I liked the first movie, and I understand it was terrible, but I enjoyed it. It's one of those terrible
one.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god,
the
Thomas Jane one.
Thomas Jane one. Yeah. I understand it's a terrible movie, but it's one of those terrible, enjoyable movies. Like if you switch your brain off, you enjoy it.
Booty Juice says Marvel should only publish Punisher. I full-heartedly agree with that.
I think he's a cool character. I don't know if he's under or overrated. I don't know if he's... See, like, I'd probably even say he's overrated.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Oh, Ali says another worst character, Dr. Manhattan.
Well, it's lucky Ali's not in here. Yeah, geez. I kind of agree with Leroi too. Like he should be bigger. I don't know.
He could be just as big as Batman.
What do you think, George?
No. He's
Dr.
rated
Manhattan,
right where he should be.
Way overrated. Rob.
He's right where he should be. He's never been able to sustain a title.
Thanks for that, George.
He had a run in the 80s where he was popular, but I don't know. Punisher's right where he should be.
Is this the... No, because who did that? Was that Thomas Jane? They did like a quick 5-minute movie on YouTube, but that's not who you're talking about, are you? Because you said stuntman Eric Lydon here. Do you know what I'm talking about though? Like he's doing his washing or something, and there's people up to no good, and he gets involved. Okay, all right. Is it my turn or is it?
Yep.
And we're underrated, aren't we?
Yep. Number 2.
Number 2, underrated. Mine was Witchblade.
Oh, okay. So then we're going to number 2 most overrated. Correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll go first.
Sure.
Deadpool.
Duplicate.
Oh.
I don't get that character at all.
That's my number 1.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Even if he was like slightly popular, I'd say, okay, whatever. But when Marvel was putting out like 30 books a month, 15 would feature him with a variant, and they would just sell. Like, I don't get it. Like, the jokes are never funny. Like, I don't get it.
The thing is, like, I enjoyed the first Deadpool movie, but that's enough for me. Like, I don't need to see any more or read any more about him. Like, he's actually annoying me now. It's one of those things, like, it was funny once. That's it for me.
I'll say this about it too, because he's my number 1. I have 2 Liefeld characters in my top 5 overrated characters: Cable and fucking Deadpool. Like, that should tell you something right there.
Ooh, Eric Von Stugel coming out with the big guns. Joker overused.
All right, we'll move on to my number 2 then. Most overrated.
Joker.
And again, I love the Joker. He's one of the characters I actually I could find some, like, a little bit of relating to, because, you know, he's not quite mentally stable. That kind of thing. Like, you know, I couldn't relate to all the heroes growing up, like, you know, do the right thing, everything will be okay kind of thing, when the world's not like that. So I always naturally gravitated to all the crazy people, all the villains and all that kind of thing. But yeah, man, he's just everywhere, and he's just used and used and used and used, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And I think it's the same with Harley Quinn. Everything that's made him special is starting to make him annoying.
I think I see your point where I come at this because I'm a Batman guy, but from the stable of villains like Batman has, why do we keep going back to the Joker over and over and over? I think 2 is a bit high, but I can't fault you for this.
No, I agree. Like, he's not my favorite Batman villain. He's definitely not my favorite villain, but somehow he seems to be just used constantly. I agree. Good choice.
Yeah, 5-10 years ago, he probably would have been one of my favorite characters overall. But it's hard to say that now because he's just everywhere. Okay, who's next?
We're going now.
Oh, by the way, I'm done. Like, I had Harley Quinn at 2, and then I had Deadpool at 1, so we're...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we just finished number 2 most overrated. So now we're going number 1 most overrated. Before I forget, Ali in the chat had Condiment King, number 1 most underrated. Oh, that was a good choice.
Well, it should be underrated first, shouldn't it? And then overrated.
She said number 1 most underrated. I'm sorry if I said it wrong.
Okay. So number 1 most underrated characters.
Yep. For me, I have Deadman from DC Comics.
Good one.
You know that character, Rob?
No.
He was a former trapeze artist who gets assassinated during his routine.
Oh, yes, I do know Deadman. Yep.
He can basically take over someone else's body, and when he does that, he takes over their strengths and their weaknesses. So if he enters into like an old man's body, then he's more feeble, whereas a young person's body, he has more strength and vitality. But he can't communicate when he's in his like ghost persona. He has to actually go into people's bodies to be able to speak to people. He was, I think, in an episode of Justice League Unlimited once. I've never seen him. I've never seen a live action version of him. And there just hasn't been none done with this character. I think he's really interesting. He kind of came to prominence when Neil Adams started drawing him in the late 70s. He was in a lot of Batman Brave and the Bold issues. But I think there's just so much potential here. I think he looks cool. I think the character is cool. I like this character a lot. Etrigan the Demon from Jack Kirby. That's another great choice. Good job, I borrow
George,
ideas.
I thought Greg would. He said Swamp Thing, and I thought for sure you would have picked Swamp Thing.
I didn't choose Swamp Thing because he's had multiple movies, he's had multiple TV shows, he's had multiple long runs in comics. I mean, some of the biggest creators in comics love him.
Yeah, but based on popularity,
yeah.
I thought for sure you would pick Swamp Thing.
No, I'm not saying.
When were the movies and TV shows though?
Well, the movies were in the early 80s. There was 2 TV shows. One was in the late 1980s, early 90s. Oh, that's awesome. And the most recent TV show was, I think from a year ago. Are you not familiar with it? For real? Yeah,
No.
There was a Swamp Thing TV show. I think it was supposed to be for the DC TV channel, whatever it was, and they pulled it right away, and then it was on CW this past year.
It wasn't good, or was it good?
It was excellent.
Oh, really? I'll check it out, man.
It was just too expensive to produce. Critical Blast says there was a cartoon series and action figures too. So Swamp Thing's right around where he should be, but to me, Deadman is definitely underrated.
Yeah, I think Deadman, I mean, I don't have a huge knowledge of the character, but from what I've seen, he does seem really interesting. He's interesting power set and, design as well. I think it's pretty cool. What's chat saying? So Eric Canetti says, I storyboarded that Deadman episode on Justice League Unlimited. That's sick.
There's a part in that episode where he has to infiltrate Batman's body and take him over, and he uses a gun to shoot somebody and kills him. And
cool.
Batman wakes up knowing that he just killed somebody with a gun. It was pretty devastating.
Awesome. Hockey says, I have to go have a meeting. Have a great day. See you, Hockey. Good to see you, mate. Deadman was in the Justice League Dark movie. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Eric Canetti says, hello. Hello, Eric. Okay. Leroi, underrated?
Leroi went.
Was he
number 1?
No, I didn't.
Oh, my fault. I thought you said you were done.
No, I was done. You guys, no, I have dupes for the rest of my overrated.
Mm-hmm.
My underrated has been listed in the chat, and I told you guys it tied into my most underrated at Spawn number 4. Number 1 for me is by a character by the King, Jack Kirby, Etrigan the Demon. He should be everything Spawn is and more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get this
A
character.
hell Spawn that aligns with good. Like, sometimes by circumstance, but whatever. But, like, the son of Belial out for justice for mankind, like, that's awesome. I love it.
George, what do you think?
I love this character. I like that. I like that he rhymes. I like just how devastating he is. Once again, I think in an episode of Justice League Unlimited, a pretty good one too, if I remember correctly. Good character. You can't argue with Jack Kirby.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't like him, Rob?
I mean, I haven't seen him enough in things to really form a solid opinion. But whenever I've seen him, I've just been like, yeah, I don't get it. Booty Juice says, "What design sucks?" Osgreat says his rhyming is annoying. Chris Cram says orange fire is forbidden, mate. Okay. My number 1 underrated character is also from Batman, is also a villain. Do you want to have a guess, George?
And it's not
Ra's al Ghul?
No.
Underrated?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Underrated.
Dude,
I think she's one of
Corey Barton. You're just like, oh, hot chicks, man, far out.
I think she's one of the coolest designed and interesting powered villains that has been created. I think she could be. Why is she not as popular as Joker, for example? Right? I think she's as cool. She has better powers. It's better design. I think she's underrated.
I think
She was
underutilized.
in the movie. She's been in the animated series. She's had her own comic book series. She's been in a huge part in the Arkham video game.
She's got an animated series with Harley Quinn for Pete's sake.
Joker, Harley Quinn, Joker, Harley Quinn. Come on, where's Poison Ivy? I know she's there, but she's nowhere near that.
She's been everywhere.
She's underrated.
Dude, she's been all over the comics lately.
Underrated. Chat.
Crazy.
Tell me I'm right. Eric says Ivy is cool, but she's totally right. Rob's totally right. Osgreat Sage says they wreck Poison Ivy's character as well. She's become Harley's sidekick. She should be a top villain. Hicks villain. You are my favorite person today.
That means you don't want to. Yeah, okay. They all should be your favorite people, Rob. All of them.
Rob, you are wrong. No, I agree. Like, I think she should be on the level of Joker and Harley Quinn.
She is.
She's not, Leroi. Whichever way you want to sell that story, she's not.
Who the hell in the chat doesn't know who Poison Ivy is and her story?
Oh yeah, this was a really close one too. Mr. Freeze.
I love Mr. Freeze.
Underrated.
Yes, great choice.
Definitely. Yeah. Carry the Weight says Ivy hands down is underrated. She's always a sidekick.
So is Robin. You have him on your overrated.
Yeah, because he's crap. Poison Ivy is everywhere, but she's not where she should be. That's what makes her underrated.
You need to grow your hair out again and get sane,
mate.
I'm okay with it. He had a couple of good choices. I'm proud of him.
Thanks, George. Comics Mate says Mr. Freeze needs a little more redemption, but he's murdered too many people to ever be a full-on good guy. Yeah, why be a good guy? Be a bad guy. It's more fun. Okay, what are we up to now, George?
Hey, wait, you missed the best chat from Allie there.
Oh yeah, I really want to watch a movie about a chick yelling at Batman about global warming. Yeah.
We are at number one most overrated. Leroy, did you do?
Yeah, I had Deadpool.
Okay, so Rob, it's just you and me.
Overrated. Let me bring up my list. And just quickly on Poison Ivy, like I think they could use her powers a lot better than they do. You know, like she doesn't use them, or they don't use her powers as well as they should. Okay, George, you go first because mine's probably going to cause some drama.
Mine won't. Everyone will agree. My number one most overrated character in comic book history is Wolverine.
No, I don't agree.
And that is a placeholder for every single X-Men. Wolverine is absolutely dull. All of the X-Men are absolutely dull. Who wants to read a comic book about people going to school all day and then just drinking coffee and talking about their feelings?
Words.
This character should have stayed where he was, which would have been like a little side story. But once he got popular, they gave him all these powers. Now he's immortal. You know, his bones are indestructible. He heals everything. Like, he's not interesting. He fights for no one. He doesn't have like a loved one or any children. Like, he's just dull. What's his motivation?
Eric says, "How dare you, George?" Wow.
He's the only X-Men that, like, if you took him out of the X-Men, like, I could stomach it. Like,
if there was 5 X-Men and you took him out, there'd be 4 X-Men that I still couldn't stand.
Yeah, I get you. I'm with you.
I use this as my placeholder for any X-Men character. You want to change
really
it with
doesn't like the
Cyclops?
X-Men.
I really don't. I just don't get. Here's the thing: it's not like I think they're the worst team ever. That would be the Legion of Superheroes, but I don't understand why everyone likes them as much as they do.
I always say, George, that they're like the Friends of the comics. They just, it's terrible. Like,
I've never seen Friends. I've read the X-Men. I don't get it.
The whole Wolverine, Jean Grey, Cyclops love triangle thing needs to be finished. That should be done. But if you,
what kind of more ideas says?
George doesn't like other immortals. That's a good one. If you take Wolverine out of the X-Men, do you think X-Men would have been as popular as they were?
Hell no.
Because I don't think it's even close. I don't even know if
they were down to a bi-monthly comic and almost canceled before Cockrum came on and revitalized the franchise.
I think Teenage Girls Stalk Wolverine. The Silvestri run on Wolverine was amazing. Can we do underrated? Angel from X-Men.
Ali says his costume is stupid. I agree.
Wolverine always hangs out with teenage girls. Jeez, okay. It's getting a little bit crazy in here. What do you think, Leroy, about this?
Look, he's not my favorite. He's not my favorite at all. I don't like the X-Men. I'm with George. I think they were terrible for comics, like, period. But, like, I think he's the least of the offensive of the X-Men, but he's still part of the X-Men, so I can't disagree with George.
Okay. My most overrated character is What do you think, George?
I like the Barbara Gordon Batgirl character a lot, and as much as I love Alan Moore, I hated Killing Joke because of how they treated her. From the day I read it, I couldn't stand it. I thought there was a lot of potential to that character. The idea that it's Commissioner Gordon's daughter, you know, it was interesting there. And then when you take the fact that, you know, once after what happened to her, they turned her into Oracle. I like the Barbara Gordon character. You're talking about Barbara Gordon specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the Barbara Gordon character.
I don't know. This kind of stands for, like, you know how you say Wolverine stands for all X-Men. This kind of also stands for all female characters that have just been created as an additional to the male counterpart. Like, so you're Supergirl, you're Batgirl, it's just, I don't get it. Why did she choose to become Batgirl? Why couldn't she become her own character? What's her motivation? Why the bat thing? Is it just because Bruce Wayne is a bat? That's what it is. It's just like,
it's just hard for me to say any character from like the Bat family is underrated at this point. Because that's
No,
like the only
he said overrated.
or overrated. Is she overrated though? I think she maybe. I think Joker's probably more overrated than her.
I agree.
If you're going to get into Batman.
yeah, that's a fair criticism. Yeah, she just literally copies the Batman. It's just like I hate characters like this. Like, you know, we have a male character and he's popular, so now we're just going to make a female character of that. Just
But they did that
make
a while
cool
ago.
female character.
Like George said, this happened. This isn't like a recent SJW character. This happened a while ago.
Yeah, I don't care.
They do it so that because the other company would steal the character. They wanted to have the licensing rights to have that character's name. Like Marvel threw out a quick She-Hulk because there was rumors that DC was going to make a She-Hulk character. DC was pissed that Marvel made Wonder Man because they had Wonder Woman.
And I know George didn't like it, but The Killing Joke was a huge book.
It was huge.
A huge book. So, like in the grand scheme of things, she's pretty important in comics.
Overrated. What does chat think?
I don't know. I don't mind that if you don't like her, or if you do like her, but there's no way she's as rated high as Harley or Joker. That's my point. Like those characters are much, much higher on the radar of rank. That's why I put Wolverine, because everyone loves Wolverine. I just don't get it. So
I just don't get this. They think that male readers will find the female characters sexy. I mean, like, I've never looked at Batman and go, "Oh, damn, I want a hot Batman chick." Like, I don't know. I don't know enough about She-Hulk. Honestly, I don't know enough about her at all. George could probably.
She had a blood transfusion from Bruce Banner. It's his cousin. But the difference is she retains her intellect. She doesn't transform into She-Hulk. She just is She-Hulk.
Yeah, Greg, I'm not saying if it's good or bad. I'm just saying it was an important book in comics, like whether you like it or not. Like,
yeah,
regardless.
Like The Watchmen's important, but that's also bad.
All right, chat. Let us know what you think. I think I had the best suggestions out of everyone. Clearly, everyone seemed to agree with them. So
I think sometimes you do these just to piss the chat off, Rob.
Well, I mean, I could have really gone there today. I thought about it. I held back a little bit.
One thing I've learned today: from now on, we do a list. We go 5-1 and don't go back and forth because it confuses everyone.
Yeah, Rob, terrible.
Well, I mean, you know, I thought George would know these things, you know, since he's been around for a little while. Oh, jeez. Jim Cook says, I don't care about any of them. All mainstream characters are overrated. Let's get some CG characters out there. I agree, mate. Don Duplicator and his Robocopter. Leroi had basically the same as me. Craig says, damn right, Jim. Damn right. Thank you, everyone, for which Robin was they're all the worst. They're all the worst, Robin.
Chad, if you don't mind, give Rob a thumbs up. He's trying to grow his channel.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Ring the bell for notifications. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you, George. Any final parting words we want to tell the people?
I would like to tell everybody to go back Replicator 3.
Oh.
That's what I would like to tell people.
That's a fantastic idea. If you haven't, it's a great book with great characters, you know. Much better than this one here, I tell you right now.
I borrow ideas with another great chat comment.
I expected nothing from Rob's stream, and I'm still disappointed. Jim says, why would we do that? That's a good question. It's a good question, Jim. Stop talking, Rob. I can't. Once I've started, it just keeps happening. Comics Mate says, I backed it. It doesn't look terrible.
Wow, that's nice of him to say.
High praise.
I know. When are you guys doing George's original art show?
We're going to finish up our music stuff. So we have the 70s, and they talked me into doing. I'm gonna have to listen to George talk about freaking Bob Dylan for an hour and a half, and then we're gonna do George's art show after or stream between that, and then they talked me into doing movies. So probably 3 weeks. I think we're gonna do a show on all of George's original art collection, which is quite extensive. It'll be fun. It's actually the thing about George and I is like my favorite artist of all time. He is a big collector, and we didn't know that about each other until like a few weeks ago. So it's really going to be fun for me.
I love your budding friendship. It's great.
Oh, thanks, man. You're invited too, Rob.
Yeah, you can
thanks. Come. The person that bought my Rob Willis piece, I'm tempted to ask them if they want to show off their original art, because that person is going to have stuff for days. Like,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll ask him. I don't know if he'll do it, but yeah, I know you'll know who they are once you see like how much stuff they buy. It's just crazy.
Nice.
So I think that'll be really cool. Yeah, we'll do another show next week as well, same time. Ali says, why not do the 50s? So
because 1 through 10 of the 50s is Hank Williams Sr. We don't even need to debate that.
Save the best 70s for last. What you could do is you could do one album from the 60s and then go to 70s and then go back to the 60s, because that won't be confusing at all. Yeah. Willis has a group of collectors who auction for his prints. Interesting. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much, everyone, for popping in, and George and Leroi, as always. Thank you. And chat, thank you for coming here again. I don't know why sometimes, but thank you very much. See you guys. Bye.
Hey, chat. Actually,